What's up, beautiful people, and welcome back to another majestic comic book review video where I say words from my mouth about a comic that I read, and you, the magically delicious, listen. It is I, your crazy Nicolas Cage, your steward of Gondor, your genius, billionaire playboy, basic YouTuber philanthropist, SuperCliff, and would you kindly hit that like and subscribe button for every little bit helps in this majestic YouTube world. And today, guys, we are back at it with the mission with Suicide Squad, issue number 5, which of course is written by Robbie Thompson, with the art drawn by Eduardo Pensica and Dexter Soy, inks by Julia Fiari and Joe Prado, with the colors by the magnificent Alex Sinclair. And without further ado, let's get freaky. Alrighty, folks. So our story begins with a field report given to us by Bloodsport, and it basically plays out like a reintroduction for the character. Robert Dubois, definitely butchered his last name. I can't say words, by the way. AKA Bloodsport, and his brother Mickey grew up dreaming about one thing and one thing only: war. And once the two of them turned 18, Mickey enlisted, whereas Robert ran away. He ran away from the fight in fear of dying. But when the day came when Mickey died, Robert decided to stop running. Thus, in Mickey's honor, he became Bloodsport, a paramilitary-themed supervillain funded by Lex Luthor, and most famously known for sending Superman to the ICU via kryptonite bullet. Now, in layman's terms, Robert suffered a massive psychological breakdown following the death of his brother. So because of this, it led to him being in prison and to join the Suicide Squad. Now, when it comes to skills, Bloodsport is trained in hand-to-hand combat, but he also possesses a special ability, which he views as his ace in the hole, having the ability to teleport weapons as needed. And because he's working for Amanda Waller, Bloodsport has unlimited supply. Basically, he's a one-man squad, which is something he tends to prefer. And he's definitely a lone wolf kind of guy. But this is where things get a bit funky, because Bloodsport isn't working basic Black Ops missions, rather, he's working missions across the multiverse, tasked with finding new intel about the multiverse, along with recruiting additional cannon fodder subjects for Amanda Waller. And Bloodsport, he's able to do this with his new battlesuit and helmet that Waller had given to him for this mission, because it allows him to interdimensionally travel from universe to universe without melting away in the process, which is always a plus. You don't want to die melting away. It's pretty bad. I mean, look what happened to those Nazis back in Indiana Jones. I digress. Now, currently, Bloodsport is investigating Earth 3, and within his field report, Bloodsport mentions that he has been on Earth 3 for the past 48 hours or so, but has yet to see any sign of meta-human activity. But that quickly changes within a matter of seconds, because Bloodsport witnesses an attack that is being led by Superman. Except, this is clearly not our typical Boy Scout, the red and blue superhero that Robert is so familiar with. Instead, this is Ultraman, an evil version of Superman who, rather than saving people, would prefer to rain terror and hurt people to the extreme. Now, Ultraman isn't alone, for he's fighting alongside his teammates, members belonging to the crime syndicate, such as Owlman, Emerald Knight, but more importantly, it's where Bloodsport sees Black Siren, the evil version of Black Canary. And so once Bloodsport begins to report over to Waller, Amanda Waller tells him that he needs to capture Black Siren, capture her so that she can join Waller's Task Force Z. Also, Bloodsport, cut it out with the whole lonely soldier commentary. It's really annoying. And Bloodsport, he puts on his sad face and is like, okay mom, sorry. Now, with regards to Waller and the Suicide Squad status, we find out that ever since Red X escaped, Waller's had the team in lockdown ever since. And the reason is because she suspects that someone amongst the squad is responsible for freeing Rick Flag. In Waller's mind, Red X was merely a distraction, whereas Flag was in truth the main target all along. Back on Earth 3, we pick up with Bloodsport, and here we see him doing something pretty funky, and it's that he's been watching / stalking his multiversal self whilst going about on his mission. And on Earth 3, this Robert is a teacher, and Mickey, a version of him that's still alive, is a doctor and has a family. Essentially, both brothers are doing a hell of a lot better on this Earth than back home. And it's just been something that Bloodsport's been doing on the side. Basically, we're building character here, folks, because we have a new movie to promote. Now, this is when the Starro invasion that's happening in the Crime Syndicate book begins. And as the Syndicate are busy fighting off the Starros, Bloodsport decides that this is a solid opportunity to capture his target. Thus, he tries to capture Black Siren. And though he's met with a sonic blast to the face, Bloodsport has an arsenal of various weapons. And so he calls down a sonic gun. And alas, the sonic gun proves to be successful in overpowering Black Siren. But just as Bloodsport is literally about to tag and grab his target, he hears a voice from across the distance. And from there, Bloodsport is immediately picked up right off the ground by Ultraman. Meanwhile, back in Bella Reeve, it's here where we are seeing the connection that's being made with the Swamp Thing run, which will happen in Swamp Thing issue number 6. Side note, if you guys have been reading the Swamp Thing Ram V series, let me know what you guys think in the comment section, because personally, I think it's a pretty legit story. And I don't think enough people amongst the comic book community are talking about it. But anyways, now as Amanda Waller is making her way, she confronts Peacemaker to assign him the mission with retrieving Swamp Thing. But it's here where Peacemaker decides to give Waller some lip and tells her that the reason he joined the squad was to achieve peace. Yet, the only peace they've seemed to achieve is the team being in pieces. And now we're just sitting here in lockdown, and we are still in no way closer towards achieving peace. You don't trust us, Waller. You don't trust any of us. So how can we accomplish the mission without there being any mutual trust? But rather than apologize and show any sort of humanity whatsoever, Waller's like, shut up, douche. And she zaps Peacemaker. And she tells him that first off, dude, I've never trusted any of you to begin with. And second, I don't need to trust you. You'll do what I say when I say. And you'll die when I want you to die. Suck it. Now, after Waller leaves his cell, she gets interrupted by one of her men. And the guy tells Waller that Bloodsport is asking for the big gun, because currently he is eating shit whilst attempting to fight off Ultraman. And though Bloodsport is sort of fending him off, Ultraman isn't even trying. He's simply toying with him, because Ultraman, due to his scans, he can tell that Bloodsport is not from Earth 3, and that he's not from this dimension. And so he's hoping that if he fucks with Bloodsport for a bit longer, he'll eventually get the information that he needs. Now, Ultraman, by using his X-ray vision, finds a bomb placed within Bloodsport's skull. But because Ultraman is not from our world, he's extremely curious as to why his opponent has a bomb inside of his head. But suddenly, the big gun that Waller sent arrives, and the big gun is none other than a kryptonite rifle. And alas, Bloodsport's ace in the hole is a kryptonite bullet. But clearly Bloodsport didn't do any of his Ultraman homework, because whereas kryptonite is lethal towards Superman, here on Earth 3, kryptonite for Ultraman is like a bag of Skittles. Taste the rainbow. A treat that actually gives him more power instead of harming him. And so once Ultraman inhales all of the kryptonite gas, he uses his heat vision and manages to zap the bomb right out of Bloodsport's head. Therefore, with the explosive gone, Ultraman can now figure out who it is that he's fighting and can figure out who sent him. Who sent Bloodsport to Earth 3. And that, folks, was Suicide Squad, issue number 5. And I freaking loved this issue. Legit, this entire run is amazing, and if you're not reading it, then stop whatever fetish or ritual that you are conducting and read this book. Robbie Thompson is killing it here. And I love how Thompson is connecting the Suicide Squad with a bunch of other ongoing books, like what we got with Titans Academy. Whereas now we're getting references from Ram V's Swamp Thing, along with the Starro invasion that's happening in the Crime Syndicate book. It's great stuff, and it never feels as if you need to read these books, which is always a plus if you don't want to. Now, I will say, and this truly isn't a criticism, it's just something that I did notice, which of course is Bloodsport's suit. It's super identical to the Idris Elba suit that we see in the Suicide Squad trailers. Now, don't get me wrong, it's a dope looking suit, but I can't help but feel that this synergy happening between the movie and the comic was just a bit too much on the nose. Like I said, it's not a fault, it's just something that I noticed. The art here continues to be fantastic, but I have to say that I do prefer the art where it's solely being held by Eduardo Pensica rather than having it being shared between multiple artists. But that's just a personal preference of mine. The colors by Alex and Claire are amazing, yet I can't help but not love the art that we gotten before, the color combo and such, more so than this. However, though this issue is shared by multiple artists, the book still feels consistent. You're definitely not going to get any sort of Nick Spencer Spider-Man vibes here. Which, in case you didn't know, that book is notoriously known for inconsistent art. But yeah, Suicide Squad continues to be fun and action-packed, and it leaves a fantastic cliffhanger between Bloodsport and the Crime Syndicate, and it's something that I cannot wait to see. Suicide Squad, issue number 5, gets a 9.5 out of 10. Giggity goo.